Now, live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is a special presentation of CBS 11 News at 6, COVID and the Classroom.
Taking the guesswork out of all the back-to-school uncertainty.
All we have to go to look at is what we saw in the spring, and we knew for sure that's not what we wanted for our family in the fall.
The new option more parents are choosing that puts control back in their hands. Then, sleep schedules, whether you're remote or in person. Why this year adjusting your routine could be more challenging.
I feel like it's ruining my chances.
And a group of baseball all-stars coping with uncertainty as COVID threatens their recruiting exposure. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Doug Dunbar. It's great to have you. Thanks for spending time with us for our week-long series, COVID and the Classroom. All this week, if you don't know, we are dedicating the entire CBS 11 News program at 6 to everything back to school across North Texas. Parents, we know, have been wrestling with how and where students should be learning and what they need to be successful academically, socially, emotionally. It all matters. For school districts, it has been a summer of reimagining the classroom. Carroll ISD, for instance, in Southlake has installed 600 cameras across its campuses to help teachers connect with both remote and in-person students all at the same time. Our Nicole Nielsen got a behind-the-scenes look at that setup earlier today and takes us inside tonight.
We really have to be prepared for whatever curveballs throw at us at any time.
Randy Stewart is Carroll ISD's Executive Director of Technology, and he'll be the first to tell you he's been put to the test.
It can be nerve-wracking for sure. I mean, you saw a couple teachers just come up to us, hey, I need help, hey, I need... The bottom line is we have thousands, tens of thousands of pieces that could break at any given time.
Stewart and his staff have spent the whole summer working so teachers can lead classes in person and online simultaneously. The district has installed about 670 webcams.
Currently, I have just my integrated webcam showing.
With the help of the cameras, teachers can cater to the students in the classroom and online.
They expect about 60% of students to return in person. Online students will be able to ask questions and stay involved in class through Zoom. But he tells me adjusting to two different types of relationships with students is going to be the biggest challenge for teachers.
I think the biggest thing is probably how do I love a child remotely through a camera?
How are we going to navigate getting our virtual learners to socially interact with our in-class learners and vice versa? And
teacher Elise Tritton says it's questions like these they've been struggling with for months. But she says she feels confident in the district's teaching strategy.
You know, it's been interesting to say the least, but I'm super thankful that we have the technology and the resources that we do have.
And Doug, teachers were inside all day today learning that new technology.
Nicole, you said about 60% or so of their students are expected to return in person. What protocols does the district have in place right now? Let's say if the virus starts spreading, which some people think may happen, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's why they say that this technology is so important. They're making sure it's in the hands of every single teacher, so that way in the instance if students do have to go home, the teachers still have the resources that they need to strategically make that change.
All right, Southlake Carroll tonight. Nicole Nielsen, thank you very much for getting us underway. Today also marks the first day of school for Prosper ISD, by the way. The district says about 61% of elementary and 67% of secondary students are back at school for in-person learning. Before arriving on campus today, students, and as they go forward, will have to go through a health screening questionnaire with their parents. Masks are highly recommended for pre-K through 3rd grade, and then they are required on campus for 4th through 12th grades. We did speak to some parents and students today to see how they're handling the changes.
It kind of feels weird because we've been in quarantine for 5 months, and it feels different, but I like it.
They've put a lot of thought into this to make it the best experience for our kids because it's not normal, you know, going into the school year. But I really feel confident in what they've done and how it's been played out for us.
And how did your kids?
Plano and Allen schools, by the way, kicked off the new year online today. Lots of parents still sharing those smiling first day pics on social media, even if those going back to class were doing so from their bedrooms in this case. Parents tell us it was a lot to pull off, especially while also working themselves.
My husband and I are both educators, so we had to be on our own meetings all day. My youngest son's only 6, so we had to hire someone to help him all day. And then the 10-year-old's all by himself trying to figure it himself out. So it was a lot of planning and organizing.
And that parent also tells us the best way for a smooth online start is trying to be organized, have a plan, and then definitely have a backup plan as well. Regardless of a plan, COVID means parents and schools right now are dealing with a ton of uncertainty. That's why we're doing what we're doing this week. The search for a situation that they can control has pushed many parents to try homeschooling. Robbie Owens with a closer look at that.
All we have to look at is what we saw in the spring, and we knew for sure that's not what we wanted for our family in the fall.
So the Glossons will take over the teaching duties full time. They'll homeschool their 9- and 5-year-olds this fall.
And that way we don't have to go back and forth. We don't have to start for a few weeks and then end because, there's an outbreak in the school or, start and stop for whatever other reason. So I think that, yes, consistency is definitely one of the main reasons we chose to do this.
And they are not alone.
We saw our call or contact volume double of families asking, how do we do this?
Tim Lambert is president of the Texas Homeschool Coalition.
Parents are concerned about, number one, the virus. Secondly, people are still concerned about the uncertainty of what to expect from the public schools.
He says the flexibility of homeschooling is a major draw.
Parents get to choose curricula, they get to choose graduation standards, they choose hours of the day. And so we see lots of varied situations. Single moms that are doing this, grandparents that are helping. Anybody can do this.
I have been most intrigued by your comment that a focused parent could do with their own children in a couple of hours every day what it takes a teacher 7 or 8 hours to do.
A bulk of their time in the classroom is taken up doing administrative duties, keeping the peace, keeping kids focused, lining kids up to go to the restroom. And when you're in a homeschool environment, those situations don't exist.
The Glossons have also joined a homeschool co-op so students can get needed social interaction and parents can share support.
There's posts daily of people saying, it's going to be okay. You're not going to screw up your kids. And, here are some things that we've done. I think everyone has a fairly good sense of what's best for their family. And I think in the end, that's all that really matters.
Robbie Owens, CBS 11 News.
And as for cost, Lambert says that parents can spend as little or as much as they'd like, but a rough estimate, ballpark $500 to $600 per year per child. There are also lots of free resources online. We have posted a link to that information as well if you'd like to check it out.